listen to the wailing, the pain, the excruciating circumstance under which this was done before more comments or analysis would happen in this conversation. These are the voices of Nigerians, the voices of the people who are not in a state of a full declarative blown war, the voices of the people who just believe that they needed to get their daily bread, the voices of the people who go out there, pursue after legitimate source of income, yet they become prey in the hands of some individuals who are wielding guns in this part of the world.
I think we should have put out a caveat before.
How many?
Before playing this, not for real.
How many? How many Excel? We may not even tell what would come tomorrow.
No,
because
again, I say this because first, let's apologize to any listener who was caught unawares by that. That's just like Adia described. I know he tried to be a bit not so direct about it, but that's one of the kidnapped victims crying from her kidnapped den, where she's currently held alongside school children who happen to be kidnapped somewhere in Oyo State over the weekend. So I just felt we should put that first, and then also let any listener interested to know that it might come off this way, because seeing someone cry is painful. Hearing it all of a sudden is enough to break your heart.
The people of Orire local government area in Oyo State, they've never had it this bad. And what we have right now, putting forward all the analysis or whatever advice in terms of intelligence and security would not even solve half of the problems, because we are going into an election season and we still have rising cases of Nigerians who are being kidnapped on a daily. You know, we ask ourselves again, in the north, maybe it's easier to find a rationale to saying, oh, it started as an activities of Boko Haram not wanting Western education and they attack school and all of that. But when you talk about areas like Kwara, areas like Oyo State, you ask yourself, what exactly is the problem? What exactly is the intent behind these killings and kidnappings? Because as we speak, Excel, this thing is spilling all over. If you're very comfortable to say, oh, it's just happening there, it's not happening here. That was the same narrative we sold ourselves as a people. And for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, some would argue that, oh, he's the president from the south, or if you like, you tie it to the west. That narrative, if it becomes comfortable with this administration, you would never be able to predict where we'll go next. Guess what? Late former President Muhammadu Buhari was also very comfortable with that fact, because for him, he felt like it was his opposition that were using insecurity against him. And again, because he's somebody who is from the north, in Daura, those who were not happy with him were, making sure that the states were not stable, even though he had promised to tackle insecurity, and Nigerians trusted him with that to say, as a military person, he had done something before now, and maybe he can do that again. But he came into power, and the same situation continued to persist. We started making excuses for why Nigerians would be kidnapped, and he became comfortable with it. And now the trajectory has moved to places where you can say, it concerns the aborigine of the current president, and the current president too is also comfortable with sharing and saying it's a tool by my political opposition. Don't forget that this is your state, where I think it was Alao Akala and some other persons who combined Oyo State, Ogun, Oshun, the rest of that to form the Amotekun. Amotekun has been recording some success. They've also had their own downtime in terms of tackling insecurity. Today, Amotekun is having, some internal problems which, they should fix. But in the face of having a regional security body, these attacks are still happening. People are still being kidnapped. 46 people in the captivity of their, their abductors. Now, let's even look at the scary part of all of this. Names and age have been presented. You have the teachers, Ojo, Jonathan, who's the vice principal. You have Olatunde Zacchaeus, a teacher. John Olaye, a teacher. Michael Yodokun, Mrs. Oladeji, a teacher. Mary Akambi. And the students now have also been classified according to communities. There's Rashida Tajuddin, she's just 11. Ahmed Ramoni is just 8. Abdusalam Toyi, he's just 4. Baraka, 16. Fatima, 15. And it goes that way. There's Emmanuel Oyedele, 4 years old. These are the people that were moved into captivity. And we are still comfortable with saying it's an opposition card. It's this. Nobody is saying anything. Let's take a listen to what, and I must say, the calmness from her end, it's somewhat...
Did you say calmness?
No, I'll let you know why that calmness was discomforting. Okay. From I think that was the principal of the high school where this incident had happened. She was also kidnapped, and the boldness again for these terrorists to put out cameras and begin to film, those in their captivity. How did they get these videos out? How come there are no traces when you can comfortably trace people's calls? When somebody can say in this country that they wiretap?
Mrs. Adamu, FR. I am the principal of Community High School, Eswede, in Orire local government of Oyo State. On Friday, around 9:30, we were attacked by a certain group of people, and a good number of us were abducted, the staff and the students as well. And we have been here on Friday. I am making this video to ask for help from everyone, starting from the federal government of Nigeria and the Oyo State government, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and all well-meaning Nigerians, that they should come to our help and settle this thing peacefully so that our lives will not be lost. Thank you very much.
Well, I guess you should have been referring to the calmness of the second speaker, because in my head I'm still trying to process
The second speaker, definitely.
The horror in the voice of the first speaker. Now to the second speaker. I just wanted to hold back, but let me open up on a few. You're aware that we had and we have the Safe School Initiative. of the federal government of Nigeria.
That was under, I think that was established under President,
It
former President
continued
Goodluck.
into this administration. It didn't disappear.
Absolutely, but how was it fed?
Money was voted for that Safe School initiative. And yet, our schools have continued to be unsafe in the midst of many unanswered questions. At some point, when the school in Lokoja was attacked, we were told, oh, because they're somewhere inside the bush. That's why, it suffered that attack. When the other Catholic school was attacked, another reason was given. The one in which a vice principal was shot dead. Oh, we hear that, okay, the information was received, and then this happened, and that happened, and then at some point the security agents were asked to withdraw, and they withdrew, and then the terrorists struck. Someone was killed. Girls were picked up. While we waited for their release, we were told, oh, not to worry, they are okay where they are. Next thing, we have communication with these bandits, and we're working to it, and then eventually release them.
How do you explain?
Now, I am not. These are not persons who are outside the government. These are persons who are in the government. We go from there. Let's fast forward to this one. There's still the Safe School Initiative. Money has still been voted for the Safe School Initiative in Nigeria. There is still the Nigerian Police Force. There is still the NSA. There is still the Nigerian Armed Forces, which is headed by our President and Commander-in-Chief. These are still in existence. These men still earn. These men are still protected. And then, in a state where the governor is even aspiring to become Mr. President under the APM and the PDP.
And guess what he says? He said, more reason why we should vote out the current administration. Quite a lame excuse.
Who is the chief security officer of the state? Sometimes I hate to say that I don't like Mondays. You know why? I wake up to trauma. This is part of the trauma. Where children who ordinarily should be getting ready to celebrate Children's Day, by 27th, next week, Wednesday, come and hear their speeches. Flowery.
I just hope that.
So just relax, because these things, I'm sorry, these things only point to one thing. The fact that our conscience as a people, especially for those in leadership, is dead. The fact that we have decided to play and joke with everything that does not directly impact or affect us. Else, like it said, there's a gradual incursion into the southwest. I still remember like yesterday.
Have you forgotten Rivers
when
State?
A report was given. We're coming to Rivers State. A report was given a day that Kwara had an incursion of a new group at the time called Lakurawa.
Mm-hmm.
What happened afterwards?
It's still there.
Kwara has now become Oyo. Oshun has had its fair share, and there may be more.
Kwara is, some communities in Kwara have been deserted.
They do not have a community anymore.
Ifelodun is
more.
empty.
There may be more. There may be more. And look at it, the same agenda. They call it soft targets. Wonderful. What about the hard targets? I'm not saying you should take anybody out. For crying out loud, why are we behaving like we don't know what we're doing? All our concerns right now are on who becomes president, who becomes governor, who is going to the House of Reps, who is this, who is that. Ade, please.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a listen to the response of the leader of Yoruba, Rono. Rono simply means to have patience. He's actually one of those stakeholders, and we spoke with him earlier. We got to hear what he said on this matter, and of course, bring you other side to this particular development. Keep listening to Real Talk. We'll be back just before you know it.